discuss the cell organelles or the parts of the cell. So first, what is cell? Cell is considered as the basic unit of life. The cell is the smallest living unit in all organisms. All living things are made up of cell. Also, all cells came from other pre-existing cells. We have two kinds of cell. We have animal and the plant cell. So, first is the cell membrane, also called the plasma membrane. It is the outer boundary, controls what goes in and out of the cell.
This cell membrane, also called a plasma membrane, it's selectively permeable, which means that it only lets certain select materials in and out. But by doing so, it keeps things in the cell stable, also known as keeping homeostasis.
So next is the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, it is the colloidal suspension fluid that contains the organelles and a thick solution that fills each cell that is enclosed by the cell membrane.
Cytoplasm. It surrounds all these internal cell structures, and you'll find it inside both prokaryotes and eukaryotes.
So the next one is the cytoskeleton. It is the hollow tubes that help shape and support the cell, also function in movement.
Skeleton, which is a collection of fibers that can provide support for the cell and its organelles. And the cytoskeleton can even play a major role in cell movement. The cytoskeleton actually deserves its own video because it's very complex and its organization can vary depending on what kind of cell you're looking at.
So next, ribosomes. Ribosomes are a cell structure that makes protein. So protein is needed for many cell functions such as repairing damage.
They are not membrane-bound organelles, and they're going to be in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. They make protein, which is really important because that's what so much of genetic material, DNA, codes for, protein. Ribosomes can be free in the cytoplasm, but they can be attached to another organelle.
Nucleus. So nucleus is a membrane-bound and organelle that contains genetic material of eukaryotic organism. Inside the nucleus, we have the nucleolus. So we have nucleolus that functions in the synthesis of all RNA molecules.
Nucleus. Now in eukaryotes, it holds the genetic material. Genetic material as in DNA, for example. Both prokaryotes and eukaryotes have DNA, but if you're a eukaryote, you have a nucleus to put it in. And the nucleus controls the cell's activities, and inside it, it has a nucleolus, which is where ribosomes can be produced.
Next, you will find the endoplasmic reticulum, short for ER. We both have the smooth and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So, the rough ER is associated with ribosomes, makes secretory and membrane proteins. The smooth ER makes lipids. So, lipids are an important component of living cells.
The endoplasmic reticulum, ER for short. It does a lot of processing of molecules for the cell, like protein folding, and it's highly involved in actually transporting those molecules around, like a highway. There's a rough ER, which has ribosomes attached to it, making it, as you can imagine, rough. And then smooth ER, which doesn't have the ribosomes. Rough ER specifically tends to be involved with protein producing and transporting, because remember that ribosomes make protein. Now, molecules that leave the ER can be sent away in vesicles that actually pinch off the ER themselves. Now, smooth ER has many additional roles, including detoxification, which is one reason why your liver cells tend to have a lot of smooth ER. And another additional role of smooth ER is that it can make some types of lipids.
So next, the Golgi Apparatus, also called Golgi body. A major function is the modifying, sorting, and packaging of proteins for secretion.
Next, the Golgi Apparatus. It's the ultimate packaging center. It can receive items from the transport vesicles that pinched off the ER. It has enzymes that can modify molecules it may receive and sorts the material it receives as well. It can determine where to send those molecules, including some that may eventually be sent to the membrane so they can be secreted.
The mitochondria. Mitochondria functions in cellular respiration to produce energy for the cell.
Mighty mitochondria, or mitochondrion, if you're just talking about one. They're like power plants. The mitochondria make ATP energy in a process called cellular respiration. Now, it's not the type of power plant that you might think of. It runs on glucose, which is a sugar, and it needs the presence of oxygen to efficiently make ATP energy.
Next, the lysosome are organelles that contain digestive enzymes. They digest excess or worn out organelles, food particles, and engulf viruses. So next, the vacuole. Vacuole, it may store food or any variety of nutrients a cell might need to survive. Next is the chromatin. Chromatin is the material that makes up a chromosomes that consists of DNA and protein. The centriole. Centriole, it helps in the formation of the spindle fibers that separate the chromosomes during the cell division. So, animal cells can have differences in plant cells.
Plant cells not only have mitochondria, but they can also have these awesome organelles called chloroplast. Chloroplasts actually make glucose by using light energy in a process known as photosynthesis. They tend to even have a green look to them because they have a pigment that captures the light energy and it reflects green light. Now, both plant and animal cells can have vacuoles. Now, vacuoles can have a lot of different functions, but many types act as storage of materials. Plant cells can have one large vacuole called a central vacuole, while animal cells can have smaller several vacuoles. Now, remember how we already said that all cells have membranes? They do. But plant cells additionally can have a cell wall, which is a layer that offers additional protection and shape maintenance that animal cells do not.
So, hope you learned something from me and hope you like it. I'll insert a song of a cell to better understand it. Thank you for watching!
Here's what a cell contains. Outer layer is the cell membrane. It controls what goes in and out. The cell gets energy from the source of mitochondria, also known as the powerhouse. The ribosomes help the cell with protein synthesis, and endoplasmic reticulum will carry substances, breaking down materials, lysosomes. The nucleus controls the cell, kinda like a brain, contains the DNA when cells divide to replicate. Outside the nuclear membrane full of pores. The nucleus makes ribosomal units from proteins, secreting hormones are the Golgi bodies. Each unit of a cell is an organelle. The membrane keeps substances out inside, cell filled with cytoplasm. Lysosomes help break things down, energy from mitochondria, protein factories, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, transfer substances like proteins, nucleus controls this.
Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, ER and Golgi body, the nucleolus. Cell membrane, mitochondria, lysosomes, ribosomes, cytoplasm, nucleus, ER and Golgi body, the nucleolus.
If you look at a plant cell, they have a few different organelles, chloroplast, vacuoles, and a cell wall. Chloroplast take the sun in, convert to food through photosynthesis. Large vacuoles to food, water, and waste. The cell wall is the outer, rigid cellulose as the protector. It provides structure to the cell.